LSU just pulled the plug on Brian Kelly, and for a school that expects national title runs, this move was inevitable, especially after the brutal loss they suffered at home at Death Valley against Texas A&M. Kelly came in with big credentials from Notre Dame and had a history of winning with that program, but the results on the field at Baton Rouge never matched the expectation. In 3+ seasons, he finished 34-14 overall and 19-10 in SEC play. And the Tigers repeatedly failed to win the big program games that define elite SEC teams. That inability to consistently beat top SEC opponents, plus a brutal loss at A&M, kind of sealed his fate and left so many fans ready to move on. And LSU has decided to do that, taking the $50 million buyout, and they will be searching for a new head coach. Today, we're counting down the top 5 candidates who could revive LSU. We'll talk about a couple of dark horses, some guys that I think are flying under the radar in this search, and I think can help return this program back to prominence. Leave a like, subscribe if you are new, and let's get into it. Before we talk about my top 5, there are a couple of names that I think are going to come up in this search that aren't going to make my top 5, and I'll go over why. Number 1 is going to be Marcus Freeman. The last time this worked for LSU, they went and hired a Notre Dame head coach. They didn't end up working, and we're in this situation now because of it. Well, I think Freeman is a better coach than Brian Kelly. I just don't really foresee Marcus Freeman leaving Notre Dame, so I don't see that one as a possibility. I don't think Nick Saban is going to come out of retirement to take the LSU job. I know that would be an awesome storyline, but I don't see it. But John Gruden is the one that didn't make my top 5 that I would keep my eye on. He's expressed interest in coaching in the SEC, and while I expect him to take the Arkansas job, I wouldn't rule out the possibility that he comes to LSU. But at number 5, I have Brent Key. He is a really under-the-radar coach that has built a very good program at Georgia Tech. When he took over this job, this was a struggling Yellow Jackets program, but they have posted big wins. They're undefeated right now, and I love the culture that he has been able to build, and I think it would fit very well. Identity is something that I felt this LSU team was lacking, and Brent Key has instilled a very tough defensive identity with Georgia Tech. He has a reputation for player development, toughness in the trenches, and building that physical identity, which I think are all things that an LSU roster that contends typically has. Strong offensive line play, physical rushing game, and discipline. I think he can build a strong culture. He can help revive this offensive line that has really struggled, and he has shown linear development year after year as a head coach. The reason that I have him at number 5 and not higher on the list is he doesn't really have a lot of national championship pedigree. He hasn't built a great resume just yet, and he hasn't seen a ton of success at Georgia Tech. He's really only had 1 year of big-time success, which he's seen right now. So I think he comes in lower on the list, but he is definitely a name to keep an eye out for in this coaching search. At number 4 is Kenny Dillingham. You guys that have followed the channel for a while know that I think Dillingham is one of the 10 best coaches in all of college football. He is a young, offensive-minded, hungry head coach that has done a great job of sprinting up the coaching ladder as an offensive coordinator and now as Arizona State's head coach. He has proven that he can win with a modern offense. He can win major conference titles. And I think he is an excellent head coach that has also shown the ability to recruit at a high level. He has that elite offensive coordinator background, an offense that instills tempo, creative play design, and I think he can do a great job at developing quarterbacks. We saw it at Oregon, and we've seen it so far at Arizona State. I think the reason he comes in at number 4 is you do kind of worry about what the pressure of a situation like LSU is going to do. I think that he's still really young and building his resume, and this would be a natural step for his coaching progression, but I do still think that there are some things that I'd like to see him clean up, and he is struggling this year. I do really like what he could do. I think he's going to be able to help your offense, but Kenny Dillingham will come in at number 4. At number 3 on my list, it is Eli Drinkwitz, the head coach at Missouri. I think he's another coach that is kind of flying under the radar that has already proven that he can win in the SEC. At Missouri, Drinkwitz has had seasons of real positive momentum, including multiple double digit win campaigns, and he has done an excellent job of not just recruiting out of high school, but I would argue Missouri has been one of the best programs in college football at recruiting in the transfer portal. And I think all of those things really bode well for him in the modern state of college football. Drinkwitz brings SEC experience, a balanced offense, a willingness to adapt offensively and defensively to his personnel, and I think he's really comfortable operating in the SEC marketplace. Missouri doesn't have the resources that LSU does, and with how well he's already been able to recruit, I think Drinkwitz could do an awesome job for LSU, bringing in big-time talent, helping return this team to national prominence. The only issue here, he is more of a steady hand. I don't know if he's that big time, flashy, transformational hire that LSU is looking for. I think Drinkwitz could do a really good job. You could win 8 to 10 games each year with him, but is he a guy that you can win a national championship with? I think that remains to be seen. So while I do really like Drinkwitz as a candidate, he does come in at number 3. At number 2 on my list, it's Lane Kiffin, and I really didn't want to put Lane on this list because, to be honest with LSU fans and Florida fans that are probably watching this, I don't think Lane is going to leave Ole Miss. He's got a really good thing building at Ole Miss. He's been one of the best recruiters in the country over the last few years, and I think he's got a great system down in Oxford. But if he wanted to take that next step and improve his resources just a little bit, I think the LSU job is a better situation for him than the Florida job. Kiffin brings instant offense, schematic innovation, quarterback development, and the ability to attract transfers. We talked about it with Drinkwitz, but Lane has done a really great job of recruiting in the portal and landing big-time players. The issue that you have with Kiffin is he has struggled to win ranked SEC games throughout his career, and against Oklahoma yesterday, it was his first ranked road win in the SEC. I still really like Lane Kiffin. I don't really see a lot of long-term downside with bringing in Lane Kiffin, and I do believe he is a head coach that can win a national title. I have him at number 2 because I don't think it's likely that he leaves his spot at Ole Miss, but I do really think that is the big-time flashy hire that you can win a national championship with. But my number 1 is going to be one that is right in LSU's backyard, and that is John Sumrall, the head coach at Tulane. This is a name that's going to surprise a lot of fans, but John Sumrall is a guy that is generating a lot of buzz, and I think he's going to get a big-time offer in the Power 4. He's a regional fit guy that is a great X's and O coach, and a guy that I think can build a great culture for LSU. He has put together a phenomenal head coaching resume, starting at Troy and now at Tulane, and he is a really good defensive head coach. He's got a reputation of defensive toughness and a history of building winners with limited resources. If you give this guy the resources that LSU has, I don't see why he can't be an elite head coach. I think he can be one of the top coaches in the SEC. He's got a 38-10 overall head coach record, and I think he can bring that defensive-first culture, sharp recruiting chops, and I love that the fit is already there. He's a Louisiana guy. He's coaching Tulane in the backyard. I think he should be the hire for LSU. So where do we go from here? LSU's next hire will signal whether the program wants instant fireworks or a cultural rebuild, and I don't really know where LSU should go. I think all 5 of these guys could really help revive this program, but I think LSU has to hit on this hire because they are a program that, since they won the national title in 2019, we haven't really seen them be that big-time player in the college football world, and I think they need to mix it up a little bit. Brian Kelly, this is a big-time move for LSU, but this is a hire that I think the Tigers absolutely have to get right.